Good morning, welcome. I'm Laura Meseguer, Eurosport reporter and presenter. I'm mainly focused on men's pro cycling, so I think it's the first time I'm surrounded by so many women, which is great. Today we are going to speak about transforming sport, opportunity and visibility needed. It's a great time for this movement, for this initiative, Women in Sport, thanks to influencers like Stephane Pallez. Stéphane is the president and CEO of La Française de Jeux, the national company for lottery and betting. Stéphane arrived to the company in 2014, and she's also member of advisory boards of large companies like Engie, Eurasio, and CNP Assurance. Stéphane, with a background mainly focused in economics, as president and CEO of the French State Restaurants Company and 20 years at the French Treasury Department, how come you are today sitting here to speak about women in sports?
Well, thank you very much for asking this question, and thank you to everybody for being here and listening to me. So obviously, I'm not an athlete. I couldn't do what you've been seeing on those great images today. So really, the view that I take on sports is actually coming from my background, because I think sport is a combination of very important themes that form society. So sport is, of course, sport is image. So it has something to do with stereotypes, the representation of women, for instance, that I think is an interesting issue for all of us here. Of course, it is a business, but it also, and we know it, and we believe in it. It does involve a lot of values. It talks about performance. So in sport, actually, you will find all the components of what makes the role and the image of people in society, and also you will find a lot of levers to actually move society upwards. And yesterday we brought in our corner Sarah Ouramoun, who has won the silver medal in boxing. So I know that you were here. So you have seen this very nice small woman who has done actually incredible things. She's an amazing performer. Well, first she's been doing boxing, which is, as she explained, not the sort of easiest and expected thing for a woman. So she has in fact fighted a stereotype in that way. Second, she's an amazing performer, and she's actually has been going back to competition after having her daughter, and she won the silver medal in Olympics. So yes, it's possible to have kids and to be a high performer. And also she's an entrepreneur, because at the same time she's been in fact creating several companies. So I think she's definitely the type of role model that I think we need for girls. It's one of the possible role model, so that the girls say to themselves, well, everything is possible. She's done it, I could do it. So for me, that's why I'm interested in sports, because I think it's a very powerful instrument to move things upward, and of course through people like her, but more generally to all things that we can do to support women in sports. So that's why I think it's a very good subject for the Women's Forum.
La Française de Jeux has been always very committed with sport, but it's true that since you arrived in 2014, there is much more attention in women's sports. So how have you decided to get involved the company in this initiative, Women in Sport?
So the characteristic of Française des Jeux is that Française des Jeux is a company that has been that is very committed into sports and has been for a long time. I would say over the last 25 years. The company is actually the major company to support France, to support sport in France today. So, and the company has always been seeing its commitment in sports as a way to address some issues in society, like diversity, like handicap, like integration of different people in society. And also women. So to be frank, through this action, Française des Jeux was already addressing women, but not maybe with, I think, enough focus, because as we know here, if we really want to make a difference for women, you have really to address the issue specifically, because yes, it's moving positively, but it's not moving fast enough. We know that. So when I arrived into the company, I said, could we just look at what we do and look how we could do more to focus on this issue, and maybe to create a larger coalition for action on this on those issues. So we discussed with a lot of people, and we saw that there were actually a lot of things going on this subject. A lot of people were committed also, but they were not probably united enough. That's why I'm talking about coalition. And also we concluded this first round of consultation with the idea that you definitely need to work at 4 levels at the same time if you really want to have an impact. So we designed a kind of plan that we try to share within this community, within a large community, and those 4 levels are: first, you need to act at the grassroots level. So girls' practice in sport is key. It's key for sports, but it's also key for the girls and their integration in the society, and I could, of course, take many examples. Second, you need to work and to use, you need to, of course, to work with the athletes, to support the athletes, and also I could take many examples about women athletes that actually have a much more difficult life than men athletes, because basically they are less supported. Well, they have less help, they have less money to manage their career and also to prepare their second career, because also in sports, a lot of people have to have at least a second career or several jobs. So you need to help them to be high performer when they're athletes, and also to prepare their second life, and maybe to go in different jobs in the sports sector. You also need to use and make more visible the big sport women events. And we're going to have some that we might talk about later. And definitely through those events, you can have an impact both on the, of course, on the means and the support for women's sport, but also on the image of these sports through media, of course. So that's also a very powerful lever. Third, you need, and then we come to the media, you really need to work on the place of women's sports in media, because this is part of the economic model, and if you don't have a more sustainable economic model, you won't be able to, again, to bring enough means to support this. And fourth, again, you need to have to mobilize all the stakeholders of this, and there are many actually, and so we try to have now again more and more this coalition of stakeholders working together on those 4 levels, and we are trying to enlarge this coalition. And that's why I think it's really great to be here today, because many companies here, I think, could join us in this coalition. And of course, I invite them to come and discuss with us and to unite on this objective, where actually they have a lot of things to gain, both in terms of mobilization of the companies and their employees, and also in terms of business models. Actually, it's a very good business model.
It's very interesting, this support and promotion you do for women's sports in every level. Do you consider that women's place in sport is a reflection of women's place in society?
Well, yes, that's in fact one of the reasons that I also took this issue. It's because, of course, it is a reflection. One could even say that sport is actually lagging behind the place of women in society, and particularly the place of women in companies or in business. Because when you look at the figures and statistics, definitely sport is a paradox, because it's very obvious that women in sports are high performers. And again, when you look at those images, you say, you see great athletes. So performance is obvious. It's easy to measure in sport. Yeah, you win, you have a medal, and so on. But when you look at the economics and the governance, it's just not aligned on that. So of course, when you look at difference in salaries and bonuses, well, I could quote interesting figures such as what does the best man football player win? 20 million. What does the best woman football player win? 400K. So that's it's striking. It's striking. So of course there can be differences, but really that type of thing is quite striking. It's the same when you look at the governance in France. I'm ashamed by that, but I have to say that there is only one woman that is heading a sports federation in the whole Olympic sports federation in France. Frankly, it does not reflect the practice of sports, the number of women that are actually licensed by those federations, which is, of course, much higher than this only women. So there is clearly opportunity to progress, because I'm an optimistic. So I think it's a great opportunity for actually not only for women, but for the whole sports sector to integrate more women in all the jobs, in all the positions, and therefore, of course, it will bring more also women in the sports field, more women also to be interested in the sports media, and so it will actually benefit everybody, not only women.
We are running out of time.
Yeah, I know, I'm too long.
No worries. It's very interesting to hear you. So, in this scenario, do you think that women are the future of sports? Can we say that?
Well, as I said, I'm definitely an optimistic, and what I've been feeling recently, and even more since we're here today and launching this theme in the women's forum, that yes, there is reason to be optimistic. Practice of sport for women increase. I would say the acknowledgement by everybody is that there is a huge opportunity for everybody to gain for having more women integrated in this subject is there. With great sports events also coming, as I was saying, through events as the Olympics or as the Football World Cup that will be in France in 2019, you have an opportunity to actually move things forward more rapidly. So definitely, I think that women are the future of sports. Not only women, mixity is the future of sports, and I definitely think that we can make a difference by our contribution, all of us.
Beautiful message. Thank you very much, Stéphane. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening.